I built my own autonomous coding agent completely from scratch. What you are now looking at isn't a demo from a $1 billion startup. This is Race, an open source coding agent that I built alone over the last 8 months. It maps your code base as a graph of symbols and relationships before it writes even a single line of code. See, uh, terminal, IDE, multi-line file edits, creative pipelines, all from a single engine. The thing is, there is a question that started all of this, and to tell you what the question is, it's why. I've been writing code since I was 11 years old. I started in around class 6, but in late 2024, the world completely changed overnight. Every week brought a new model, a new agent, and a new promise. That software development has completely changed. As we know, software development, it was over. First, it was Devin, then Cursor, then GitHub Copilot, then Claude Code. Everything became so easy overnight. Auto GPT went viral and agents were suddenly everywhere. And honestly, it felt like the skills that I had created over the past 8 years, the skills that I'd harnessed over the past 8 years, it was just going completely to waste. Now, the headlines started then screaming that AI would replace programmers, the engineers that are exist started showing the products, the apps that are built in 10 minutes. And the hype was real. Eventually, I started using these agents too. And since I'm a guy who needs to know the entire code base from beginning to end before I write a single line of code, it felt like I was entirely cheating the craft. Everything had become so easy overnight. I was it was unreal. It took me a whole year to get comfortable with Linux, reading manuals just to figure out a single error. I used to spend hours staring at Arduino code to figure out what the syntax error was, but now you just paste the problem into agent and fixes it in 1 minute. It just felt so unreal, felt like we are going to get replaced. But at the end of the day, I had a problem. I was a college student. I literally could not afford to purchase AI agents or $20 subscriptions on every single tool. I could not rely on closed APIs that might actually change tomorrow. And open source alternatives, well, back then there were no good open source alternatives. There was Cursor was just starting. Claude Code was not even available. Anti-gravity was not available. Gemini CLI came a months later. I started building these projects, and for the ones that were available, they were broken JSON pipelines, infinite loops, and even agents hallucinated entire modules. So there was only one thing I could do. I opened a blank directory and I started from zero. At first, the goal was simple: build a lightweight command line agent. Take all the files in the codebase, summarize each of them using an LLM, dump all the file summaries and the user prompt and ask the AI which files to edit. But that did not scale well because I did not consider a lot of things. Because I hit a wall, then I hit another, then I hit 100 more walls. But the thing is that I kept building. Month after month, I kept rewriting the architecture. I kept changing the philosophy of the model. Version 1 was feeling largely at scale. Then I pumped up to version 2, where I tried to dump the entire codebase into context, and that failed miserably. Now, version 3 is where I started adding embeddings. Now, adding embeddings overall was pretty much good, but semantic similarity is in dependency relevance, so that also did not work out really that well. I kept trying to change the philosophies, I kept trying to change the architecture, I kept adding more and more things, I kept adding more and more reasoning pipelines, I kept adding more and more if statements, more and more possibilities. Because the model was small and because the possibilities were, a lot infinite, the model kept failing more and more. The more I fought with the early designs, the more I noticed a profound flaw. These systems would generate code perfectly fine, but they did not actually understand the codebase they were changing. And then it hit me. Code isn't text. Code is a network of relationships. Every function has callers, every import creates an edge, every edit propagates to a graph. Therefore, treating a codebase as a flat set of text files was fundamentally wrong. Raise maps its relationships natively before it starts to write a single line of code. Raise passes every file, each function becomes a symbol record, call size become relationship records. Therefore, editing one symbol may require changing 5 others, and these blocking symbols that I'm talking about, Raise map zips these blocking symbols, and it finds out these blocking symbols and edits them accordingly. During the planning phase, it decides which of the blocking symbols to edit, and it figures this out from the dependency graph that it created. Over the past 8 months, the architecture went through 5 major versions. Version 1 was just summarizing all the files, dumping with the prompt, and it was just raw JSON tool calls, and it had zero context, so it failed miserably. Then came version 2. I tried to dump everything and truncated 128k tokens, and that also failed miserably. And then came the version 3. This time I started using the Chroma database for embeddings and cosine similarity. This was getting better, but it was still not good enough. Then we came to version 4, where we implemented the 3-seater AST, the symbol records BFS, graph traversal, everything. And after that came the version 5. This one worked really well. The version 5 was the full engine, where I placed the permissions, memory encoding, and the 17 preferences, including the indexing the code base, the building of the vector database, detecting of the affected symbol, detecting of the blocking symbols, planning the pipeline, planning the blocking symbols, detecting the blocking symbols, planning the edits, deciding the permission, and everything. That's where all the 17 pipeline steps came together, and it was working well. This isn't just a wrapper around an LLM. It is a software engineering model implemented in code. From basic script assistant, it is where I started. I built to a deep relationship mapping engine. Now let me show you what this actually looks like in practice. Watch the planning phase. Before any code is written, Raise maps the entire code base. File registry, symbol registry, dependency graph, relationship graph, boundary map, everything. And then it starts negotiating permissions. How many files, how many symbols, how many lines. Then it plans, and then it starts writing code. UI I've built for the power users, and GUI for visual diff streams. This is version 5. It isn't perfect, but it is real. This isn't the biggest corporate coding agent in the world and is definitely not finished, but it proves something. The most compelling tools often start from pure frustration, from looking at a problem everyone solves one way and realizing it should be solved entirely differently, especially when you have compute limits. Multi-agent loops, LSP integration, cross-repo graphs. This journey is ongoing. 8 months ago, I just wanted a coding agent, an open source tool that could help me write code. Today, I have an agent that understands how code relates. And this is only version 5. Raise is open source, the code is public, the graph is the foundation. Why did I build it? Because nobody else was building it for me.